So this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about autonomous agents. We're going to be in the Copilot Studio framework here today. We're going to go over several different things here. First of all, I am Matt Meyer. I'm with SparkHound. We're not going to talk a whole lot about SparkHound here. But my marketing people would throw things at me if I didn't at least bring up we are a consulting company and we can help you with your AI journey, especially creating autonomous agents. So the first thing is, okay, so what the heck? What are these things? What is an agent? And an agent, if you think of a typical chatbot, something that you ask a question and it responds back to you. And now with generative AI, it's going to generate a response to you. An agent is something that does that and does stuff. So it's something that it acts within the context of the user and it does stuff. So you can tell it to do things on its own. Now, an autonomous agent works on its own. It works outside the application. It's something that it has some sort of third-party trigger that comes on. And we'll talk about triggers in a little bit, but something kicks it off and it acts on its own. It completes action on its own based upon whatever that trigger may be. As we move forward here, when are we going to use some autonomous agent? When are we going to use something like this? And a lot of it is going to be for automation. So automation of tasks that require some interpretation of information with generative models. Now, what we're going to use in our demos here are going to be emails. So we've got an email that comes in and we need first to read what goes on in that email and understand what goes with the interaction that goes on that email, and then make some sort of movement, some sort of action that's based upon what goes on in that particular email. So that's really where we're going to use this kind of thing. We have something that gets kicked off, we need to interpret and read it, and then we go ahead and do an action upon it. Really, it's going to be this kind of fuzzy logic automation. So we all have those processes in our businesses that, we really want to automate, but it comes down to some sort of decision, and the decision can depend on a number of different factors, and it becomes very, very cumbersome and very difficult to build an actual logic engine that's going to do that. And if this then that kind of interpretation. What the generative AI allows us to do is put into natural language a set of rules and things like that for our agent to then go ahead and read and understand and then act in a way that kind of a human would interpret and human would act. So a lot of times we get these automations that when you're flow charting them out, you've got a lot of these different if then interactions, and the wires hop over other ones and they go through and around, and if this happens then we got to go to this status. It becomes very difficult to actually flow chart that out. But people have an easier time of simply just writing something out, writing a set of rules out, and then saying, yeah, that looks pretty good. The generative AI has the ability to read that rules document and then make a determination based upon that. And we'll see an example of that here in just a little bit. So this is really when we're going to use autonomous agents. We have something that kicks it off. We need something to occur, and we don't want any type of human interaction involved. Some of the triggers that go on, some of the things we can use inside of Copilot Studio are action events, like when an email arrives, when a new file is dropped on SharePoint or OneDrive, when a new item is added to Dataverse, that kind of thing. Even when Planner in DevOps or in Planner, when tasks are updated or completed, or if a new chat is added, that kind of thing. All those we can action upon. It'll trigger our particular event. And then conversely, when things are updated, also you can have events triggered. So again, the SharePoint or DevOps or something like that occurs, and you get that kind of thing. You get that trigger to kick off. And then finally, you have kind of autonomous triggers that just kind of happen in the course of business, and that's really when you get into things like the Power BI stuff. That it's data driven. So I have a KPI that that Power BI report refreshes, that KPI goes from yellow to red. Now we need something to occur. So we need to have some questions be asked of certain parties or things like that. That's when that agent can kick off and start doing that kind of work. When new messages are added, so it isn't necessarily an update or a create. It's when new messages come into chat, into interactive things like that. When things are assigned to me, so I have something assigned to me in DevOps or in Planner or something like that, I can have something that kicks off and then begins to ask questions or process the information that I have. Now, a lot of times like this, you can kind of think of situations this occur. In my line of work, I may have had several meetings with clients about a particular project, and we maybe have a planner thing that's assigned to me once I need to create an estimate or I need to create a project based upon what meetings I've had with that particular client. Well, I can create an autonomous agent that when something, a item is assigned to me, it'll go ahead and look at what's inside there and determine the company that I need an estimate for. And it'll understand, oh, Matt needs to make an estimate for this. So now I have something that goes out, takes a look at the meetings that I've had with this particular company, these particular people, and then creates a backlog for me, and then sends that back to me and uses that now to enter into DevOps the backlog of that particular project that we're working on. So you can build autonomous agents to do these kind of things. So it's all ready for you when you're ready to begin your interaction, your work. Who here knows what a prompt is for like ChatGPT or for Copilot or something like that? So, about half of us know what that is. What that means is when I am creating something in ChatGPT or in Copilot, I can give it a set of instructions. I can say, I want you to, you're an AI that is, you're really into surfing and you're going to talk like an 80s surfer dude and that kind of thing. All right. Those are instructions. They're a set of things that we want our Copilot, our generative AI to act. And what they're going to do is they're going to define the flow of data, and they're going to set the tone and the overall work of what that AI is going to do. It's basically how are you going to interact with your user. Okay. Now the other side of that is going to be a user prompt, and a user prompt is what the user gives the AI to do its job. In the situation that we're going to talk about here, that's going to be emails. So we're going to get an email, and that's what we're going to use as our system prompt, and we're going to have instructions. And what you'll see is you can put instructions in a lot of different places inside of Copilot Studio to help you through. So we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look at that. Next, we've got tools. And tools are the language that we use inside of Copilot Studio to do things. So this is going to be our interaction with Power Automate. This is going to be our HTTP calls. This is going to be our connectors inside of Power Platform to make calls out. So like we're calling to Dataverse, either a write or a read or something like that. It's what we're calling out to Word or any other type of Office 365 app, Teams, something like that, SharePoint. That's what we're going to use. They're called tools, and we'll see how we can use tools to go ahead and do these actions, these autonomous actions that our agents are going to handle. Finally, we've got instructions, triggers, and tools. What does that mean? What do we got? We got an agent. We got something that's going to act on its own, right? It knows what to do. Instructions it knows what to do. It's got a trigger, so it knows when to do things. And it's got tools, so it knows how to do things. All right, so now we've got something. Information's going to come in via the trigger. The instructions are going to be followed, and it's going to do stuff with the agent. So if we want to send an email, we're going to get an email, and we're going to send an email. We have an email that comes in. That's the trigger. I have a set of instructions that say, read the email and give me a good reply. And then I have something that's going to take that body of the email and send it to a connector to send an email back. Okay, so now we've got something that works autonomously. No one needs to go in there and tell it what to write. It's going to write on its own, and off we'll go. So we need these three things in order to create our autonomous agent. We need instructions. What is it going to do and how? And then we have triggers. Triggers are going to bring us information. It's going to kick off the whole thing. And finally, we've got tools. That's how it does stuff. So we have a client. And the client is a logistics company inside sales team. And their use case was just as I described. They want to expand, but their inside salespeople are swamped with simple product questions. I want to do this, or simple replies back to them saying, I want the same thing that we did in June, right? And so then the inside sales agent has to look up what they did in June and then reorder all that. Well, the AI can do that for you. The AI can read that email and say, okay, they're looking for something that they did in June. They go back into their sales database, find what they did in June, and then reorder that same thing through their ordering system. Okay, that's stuff that can be handled very, very easily through some sort of autonomous agent, and that's what they've created. So they, by expanding, they want to add productivity without adding headcount. They also have a problem where purchase errors are common because their inside salespeople have to look at that email, read the email, and then go to another system, maybe multiple systems, and type in information. There's always transposition errors that occur. So what happens here is we built them an agent that watches that shared email site. The product inquiries are then responded to just as our chicken emails were. It looks into their system, finds what they're asking about, and replies back to them. Orders are processed through reading the email context and compared against their past orders. So we can also add a little bit of marketing in there to say, hey, you have done this 3 times in the past. You want to do it again, same terms as before, asking that question because we know what those terms are. We have it. And then new customer orders and orders that exceed a specific dollar amount are referred over to a salesperson for special handling. And what we saw here, and again, this is anecdotal results. This is a new deployment. We don't have any numbers yet, but we saw an immediate drop in sales order errors, because they're no longer transposing. They're no longer banging away on their keyboard. They're getting information from those emails, from their past orders, and those things are being handled just from what that person says. So those fat fingers, those mixing up of switching one thing for another, they don't happen anymore. Emails are being able, this is one of the bigger ones. Emails are processed 24/7. Immediate customer feedback on this. They can send an email at 10 p.m. at night and get a response back almost immediately from the AI. Before, they had to wait to the next business day. So they're able to get information at any time, wherever they are, and that really, really makes them happy, really, really improve their customer service. Right? The expansion of the business can now be planned with 0 headcount increase because your inside salespeople are freed up from doing these customer inquiries. Everybody, thank you very much for your time. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. You can send it on my email. Follow me on LinkedIn, and have a great day.